Hello from Florida. Good morning, guys. Hope today will be a good one, right? This will be very, very interesting for us. I was just clicking around, making sure to get my points as we get started today. Looks like we're going to end up in that downward direction to start off the day. The reason I was clicking over to a 5-minute chart was to make sure, hey, this 5-minute is pretty damn positive, isn't it? And the last time that we saw a pretty damn positive move, hey, that move continued. We would like to see that extend even more, opening up to the downside. Just be aware that things could change very early on today, right? Reacting around 30 minutes after the open today. We will get the JOLTS job openings report, and we'll see what's going to happen with this going forward. So these are some things that we need to pay attention to react to, because it could be a rock down the stream. As of this moment, we still, on the daily scale, have yet to really get up into the block that we are trying to test, so we can fool around in this area. We could see pullbacks to the daily expected move. We could see pullbacks on the 2-hour to the weekly expected move, but we really want to see if we're ever going to get that test to the upside. So we will be paying attention. As of right now, the 30-minute has yet to cross up and confirm with the MACD. Price action saying it's a go, RSI saying it's a go, but we're kind of lagging behind just a little bit on as far as the MACD goes. So we'll be paying attention to that. We'll look out for traps and things like that going forward. Let me make this just a tiny bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. And for the most part, though, we can see that we did some good things yesterday, right? We did some good things. If you're really watching a 5-minute chart and you understand price action and you even utilize maybe even your MACD and your RSI down here, you saw this right at that daily expected move, and we head to the upside. We could come for another test of that area. These tests of this area are really just tests of where? Well, the place where we just broke out from, right? That little box that was down in this area. We keep coming down, dipping down into it to test. As this moment stands, this would be a very good way to head higher at the moment. So we'll see if this 5-minute is able to curl up into positive territory, because as of right now, ooh, it's looking a little bit, right? It's going to look nice and scary in the morning. Let's see what happens towards that, I guess 10 a.m. for most people, I guess. But if you're like me and you're in the Midwest, 9 a.m., 30 minutes after the open. Very, very nice for the SPY. I did hear about Amazon giving out some potential bad news, right? Potential bad news for Amazon, so be aware of that. No confirmation up from the MACD. Trying to confirm for the RSI. Now, this is a little bit different, I think, from the SPY, right? This isn't the middle point. This is the lower end point of this block up in here. So we will be paying attention to it. Means what? Hey, we still could be just testing that 5, right? We were talking about tests of the 5 coming in. We'll have to see if any changes happen throughout the morning. Volatility, I think, very good to pay attention to. If volatility is going to surge, this is something we want to be watching, right? We were talking about this in the video, how you can get that 2-hour type move to the upside with confirmation here. We see that the 2-hour trying to curl up. We would want to see, oh, we got this, right? We talked about this. Now we can get the bigger move that goes like this. So we'll be paying attention if volatility is going to pop off. But I want to pay attention to the data reading that comes out in just a little bit, because we're still hanging out in a great spot. And overall, what are we doing? Hey, we're moving sideways, which allows us to do what on the 30-minute? It allows us to get close to that center line. So if we really don't see any kind of trend change again here for the 30-minute, then we would say that however this wants to do it, if it wants to keep flagging out for a period of time, right? If it wants to keep flagging out, that's perfectly fine with us. And then we need to see if that breaks to the upside, and that would be a great way to head higher. So we're watching for a lot of things. As of right now, nothing crazy happening out there. Don't let someone convince you that this is absolutely crazy right now. This, for the time being, could just be a little 5-minute pullback to go down and retest these levels that we just broke out from. If you look at where we're opening up, hey, look at this. We're getting pretty much all the way down to 548, which is a very, very good level to get to at this moment. So we'll be paying attention, mainly just looking at 30 minutes just to be like, hey, we need this thing to curl up. And then I'll keep my eye on shorter time frames on my other screen. Good morning this morning. Hopefully you got your coffee ready, because we're going to have another, well, I guess it hasn't been as wild lately, has it? It's been a little bit, people would call lackluster, even though this was about like, what, 1.8%, 1.5% back up. Very, very nice. Morning, John. Morning, Tona. Morning, Samuel. Dubs, Lurkin, Luke in here today. Like number 6. I like that. I like that. That's great. Rajiv, welcome. Chris, Nicholas, Wyatt. Wise Man's back. Wise Man's back. Richard's obviously in here today. What's up, Richard? You still got to tell me when your birthday is. Sebastian, welcome, welcome, welcome. Adila saying hello from Florida. And Alex just coming in with the nice rock star. Yo. Oh, we got Richard saying yo too. We're hip now, huh? We're pretty hip in the chat these days, huh? Yeah, we're nice and hip. I'm looking to retest the gap fill at 447 for the GDP. As far as it goes for the week, that would be very unexpected as far as it goes for the month. That would be unexpected, but I'm guessing you're not saying that's going to happen all in a couple of days, right? I'm guessing you're saying like, hey, eventually we're going to end up down there. I think we easily can. I think it makes sense if we are going to. You would just more so be looking at, hey, am I losing the red zone? Am I seeing this come down, violate this, maybe get some kind of bounce in here, and then just come right back straight to the downside, using it as resistance from now on? I think that's what we're mainly looking for, a break of this low. Obviously, we already talked about the fact that breaking this low pretty much is just a beeline for that area. So we'll be watching it, but for the most part, are we in a bad trend? Are we in a negative trend right now? Has it changed back to we're going to sell these big ass rips? It can, right? This would be the area where you want to be watching. If the 2-hour confirms down, you could end up here pretty quick, right? We get earnings and a bunch of data. This is a week where something unexpected can happen, especially on the day, right? So tomorrow we'll get GDP, and guess what? We're going to look at those daily expected moves, and hey, we're probably going to see something unexpected there. But for the time being, the 30-minute is so positive that you don't want to trick yourself out and seeing the first 5 minutes of the day like this, and then you just see it actually curl up and confirm, and then we end up at 556, 557. So it's a matter of perspective. We'll look at it, right? I did just see some interesting jobs things by, I believe it posted by maybe even Trump himself. I got to go check real quick. Let me go check for a second here. Where the heck was it? Where did I see this data? This data point. I wonder if I can find it. No, I can't find it. Something about 451,000 jobs have come over since the whole tariff thing started. I don't know if that is valid. I don't. I just read it and then I meant to, bookmark it and then I lost it, but I didn't even see an article with it or anything. So I don't really trust things that people are just like typing on the internet. But I believe it came straight from Donald Trump, so I just wanted to see. And we know him. Sometimes he's a little over boastful. Sometimes he exaggerates just a little bit. So we'll see. Wolf, Yahoo. Oh my goodness. Wolfie boy doing Wolfie things. You'll love to see it. Very, very nice for Wolf to be seeing this upside. Where's it probably getting to? Well, look at this. It's probably testing in here. I guess you could take the whole thing. It's just that gets you into another thing. So I'd really like to see this reaction here. Maybe creating a zone for that. Let's take this. Very nice to get into there. See if we reject anywhere in that area. That's right. Your boy found out how to put little center lines in his boxes, which is very, very good since we're treating, we're paying attention to those zones, which we've marked off zones before, but I was like, God, how have I never put a dotted line in there? How have I never done that? Perfectly trying to get their stock price down before earnings so they can buy back up shares cheaper. Can you take a look at QQQ from time to time? Yeah, we can go look at the QQQ as well. Same kind of story, right? QQQ as well, right? We see that this is coming back down into what? Well, I mean, you could create a general box here. You could say that this needs to dip down to go test that 5 and actually go into this, and then, well, potentially even if it comes down a little bit lower, hey, we'll go into this as well. So there's a lot of areas here that are very important. That's one of them. If we wanted to mark like a general area for it, it's just I don't like a bunch of lines on my chart. I would say probably the lowest place that you really want to get to is right on the top of that wick there. Holy crap, the thickest line you've ever seen. Right in this type of area would be great. So 460.20 would be very, very nice. But ending up down there, a test of there is perfectly fine. And you notice that if you were able to dip down to there, you could see some reactions like this. That would be fantastic. And then you would just be looking for, hey, is the 2-hour confirming down with this move? Are we closing down here on a 2-hour bar? Because that's probably going to cross this MACD, which means, ooh, there is some good. You really want that 30-minute to whip back up, because if this 2 hours confirming down, it's pointing where? Well, directly to here, that 455. So that's just some things I'd be aware of for if there's going to be a failure here in some way. But as it stands, 30 minutes still in a positive trend. Until we see this really taking out, that's not the most worrisome. And really, if this happens, I still think that would be a potential gift. When you start to get a little more worried, it's probably the Friday low. probably these Friday lows, like right in here, you would probably say, okay, maybe this is very possible. But the main thing that sends you down to lower levels is just going to be you need to see that crazy move kind of break through this, start to use this as resistance again to head to the downside. So for the time being, the 30-minute is positive. It's in positive territory. It's not curled up yet. Price action in the RSI are. We're not even coming back down below the 9 on the 30-minute. So is this the most terrible thing in the world, or is this most likely just like, oh, a 5-minute that's pulling back? And that's kind of how I want to treat it at this point. And look where the 5's catching up. Very, very nice. SPY, same thing. The 5's catching up. Very, very nice. Potentially even making like structure using this kind of thing, right? There we go. Drawing funny today. Anyway, so yeah, 5-minute, we'll see. This could have a long time, right? The 5-minute pointing down kind of points to, oh, no, right? Remember, oh, no, once that curls down and actually curls down, goes negative, it just kind of drags down to that daily expected move. Okay, curls down, but is it negative? So if it's not negative, then you could easily just be like this. But I think it's going to be very dependent on the data this morning, so we'll be watching. And we'll flip back over the Qs periodically. Yeah, so there's a lot that can happen in this area. You haven't seen that really nice breakout into this zone to be like, oh yeah, we're holding this level confidently. The only thing you have that says, hey, we're turning this into support is this little bounce right here, right? So it's not the like most positive thing in the world, but if we read into this with too much negativity and expect this, the environment has changed enough in this area that it's just a little bit different. It's looking more algorithmic than it ever has, which tells us that the algorithms probably want to go test something up here. And that's why we can still pay attention to 567, 534, 28, right? It just means to us we should still lean towards that positivity throughout this kind of move. Or waiting, wishing, watching, having some fun with it, watching that 5-day come up. I'm going to get rid of this 50 for now, just to clear up the chart just a little bit. I might even get rid of the 200 for now, just so we can not have too many things going on. We already have a bunch of lines on the chart. Their tariff indicators on products. Yeah, I kind of saw something about that this morning, some tariff indicators or whatever. People saying they need to put how much the tariff is. I'm just saying, the thing that China did, this whole Temu thing, that like China put the import charges onto the payment, and now the $50 product that is sold in the United States that you can get on Temu for $19 is now $50 over on Temu. Just means it's actually a fair value because you're not taking advantage of the low cost wages. Those really cheap products that are made by made by exposing the problem with wages that they have, the labor over there that is different from us. It's not really a problem for them; it's their system. But people from America, American businesses, and other businesses abusing that shows how much damage that can do to jobs here in the United States. So if you actually show those numbers, like if you actually show the Temu numbers, it's actually a really silly thing because you're actually proving in real time the like wage problem and how rich people are abusing the system by using, some people would call it slave labor in other countries. Like it really exposes it if you look at it with a critical thinking brain. But most people just see, oh, my thing got more expensive, and they don't read it past that. Like iPhones. Here's the thing. If iPhones truly do cost $2,500 to make using regular labor, or say like even minimum wage here in the United States, if that's how much it's going to cost, then iPhone is nowhere near as efficient as it should be. That is just crazy ridiculous. Now, I would expect it to increase, but to increase by over 100%, yeah, I don't think that's the best. I don't think we've done a lot on the efficiency side, right? I think we more so have probably been abusing the low labor cost. But the thing is, it probably doesn't cost that amount. They don't want to. These companies don't want to show you the margin right now. I'll tell you that. These companies do not want to show you the margin they make. That's for sure. Because once you see that margin, you're going to go, holy crap, I'm paying for an iPhone. Oh, I'm paying $1,200 for something that costs $100 to make. Right? That's kind of how I see it. I don't think a lot of these companies are not guilty of doing super high margin stuff, especially when we went through some tariff times. But for now with the market, I think we can look at a 5-minute chart just for fun here for a little bit. We can see we're heading to the downside just a little bit here, looking for that test of the 5. I need to read more into it as well, Lucas, by the way, biggest data. I need to read more into it. Like I just, heard it in a blip, this morning. So it's not like I've actually looked into the whole Amazon thing. I'm more talking about the Temu side because I actually saw some of those things. And I was just like, man, they think that they're, a less critical thinking person looks at the import charges going up and they think America tariff bad, America bad. And what I'm saying is if you actually look at this and you look at the price of the American same product and now it's actually competitive, you realize what system is actually being abused. And that's the whole thing. Now, it's just something that, we're not going to be able to even solve. So talking about it is just like whatever. Talking about it in relation to, say, Amazon stock is probably a good thing. Yeah, someone who's just worried about getting low cost, low quality goods, they're going to be worried about the price increasing. Somebody that actually looks at markets, looks at job markets, analyzes financials will go, wow, rich people are abusing a system here, and that hurts the American worker, right? But anyway, we're still mostly on the stock market today. And look at that volatility on the 5-minute on a positive trend. Look at this. Okay, so if the 30-minute can curl down here, we want to see if it violates these divergences. These divergences are pretty damn significant. Okay, so this is why we're like, hey, pay attention, right? The risk is still here. If you do watch the YouTube videos, make sure to watch the whole thing because usually we do show off, one reason that it could be good. And then we start to stack reasons why it could be good, but we also show you the warning signs. What was one of the other warning signs we paid attention to? Well, not only this right here for volatility, the 2-hour being able to confirm that crappy divergence down here, but still confirming it, which means, hey, we could see a move. But the other thing we were paying attention to was the dollar. And what did we say about the dollar in last night's video? We want that to snap back. Is it snapping back right now? No, it is not, which tells us what? Hey, the dollar is still saying we should be very weary of this move. We should be very weary. Now, I'm still in the thinking that this is algorithmic. I'm still in the thinking I still see things that suggest that this can go to higher levels. But when it does reach higher levels, or if it even does reach something like 562, maybe it stops a little bit short towards 557, well, we need to be watching for any time that seriously rejects, right? And a 30-minute divergence here could lead into a 2-hour divergence later, by the way. So we have a lot of chop that can happen in these areas. But for the most part, we'll be paying attention to, hey, can this actually get there? All right. So can it get there? Well, we need to see something different on your MACD down here. That's for sure. And the RSI is starting to do what? Ooh, it's wanting to kind of cross back through. That's not a good sign. But what's the price action telling us? I mean, the price action is telling us that this is nothing right now. Just so you know, this is just, you left behind a gap too, which always leads to believe, hey, we're probably going to fill that thing. So, and what happens in 22 minutes? You get data. I missed the corded phone. Dude, we were talking about that. You know what we were really, me and my wife, we talked about this over the summer. We were like, it's funny, all these streaming platforms, the whole reason you got onto them, like on the, I know it's switching from phone to movie or whatever, like a movie and TV shows. Well, you guys know, I used to have cable and things like that. You watch your commercials, you have to show up at the right time and all that kind of thing. Well, the reason you got Netflix was to get rid of what? Commercials. Commercials. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something about Netflix right now. All right. I know Netflix is crazy good, right? Netflix, the price, pretty insane. That is not something you want to see, though. I can tell you that right now. This is getting a 2-hour pullback, probably back down into these type of areas. It might even go retest 1,000, actually, looking at this. Yeah, that's really freaking bad for Netflix. So I don't know what Netflix is going to do, but wow, it really looks like 2-hour pullback is the answer. You hope that's just kind of gradual, but man, that could shoot down to 1,000. That'd be kind of rough. But for Netflix, one thing that you notice is the whole reason people went over there was no commercials and you could get your stuff on demand, right? No commercials. Now what do they have? They have commercials. So if Netflix's business structure was really good from the start, they would never have added commercials. Or they would have tried to add commercials, in a way that makes them more profit. But now you're actually seeing pretty much someone's going to come out with a product that combines Netflix. It's going to combine Disney. It's going to combine Amazon Prime. It's going to combine Paramount or Paramount, whatever the hell. It's going to combine Peacock, and you're going to end up with cable again. That's probably what's going to happen. You're going to end up with cable again, and you're just going to be paying a little bit more to not get commercials. That's probably what's going to happen. Tesla, yeah, we can go look at Tesla real quick. Tesla, as of right now, not a very good moment for Tesla to be rejecting here. You would want to see that extend. Once again, we have to understand when the game is really, really changed, right? So over here, you had the opportunity to change the game, right? You saw us using it, saw us using it, saw us using it. And then what happens? We break down, right? We break down below the 5. Then we take it back. We haven't even tested that 5 since. So right here, it's like the game's changing. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Okay, game's the same, right? Game's the same. This time we got a signal. That's always good. But for right now, we haven't even tested this 5. This time we tested it multiple times and still failed. So let's see if we can at least get a test that 5. But the main thing is just, when is this thing going to curl up with all my reasons, right? Because if I take it early, it should be the earliest I can take it, right? I want to assume the risk right away if I'm going to assume the risk at a high point of risk. Okay, well then if this fails right here, well then you're in trouble, right? So you got to have that maybe tight stop down in these areas. But for the time being, we haven't even seen this tested. So I want to see that tested, right? And then we can see if that curls up. Are we at risk of turning down the 2-hour? Yeah, you're way up there. 2-hour curl down, where'd you go to? Probably to fill like right in this area towards 258.70. See if that thing can curl back up. So does this look fantastic? I think it looks pretty good. I think if we actually saw that 2-hour come down here, it wouldn't be bad. But right now, we're just looking, hey, can we hold above the 5? Because if we start to lose the 5, it starts to change. Same thing for the SPY. Same thing for the Qs. We see the 5 is right there. Today's a great day to be watching what happens off of this 5-day moving average. And reacting in about 18 minutes will be a good thing. CPC coming out about neutral yesterday, so we'll see how the PCC starts to print throughout the day today. Looks like the dollar is still struggling at the moment. Volatility not popping off, so it seems things are going to probably just sit, maybe fill gap, chill for a bit, and then see what happens with the data drop in just a moment. You have cable and the streaming services? Dude. Freaking rich. No. I always just like buy a streaming service when a show I like is on there and then I get rid of it. I'm dead ass. If you have every streaming service and cable, how much are you paying for it? And it's part of your phone line? Shit. What are you paying? Like $400 a month? I just like, hey, oh, you came out on Netflix. Okay, I'm gonna buy Netflix for a month. Like that's what I do. Chill at 468, bounce after data to 473 and continue descent. Let's look at that. 468, bounce to 473. 473. So just above gap fill. I mean, yeah, that's the point to pay attention, I guess, like all these levels in here. You really just need to break through that. Oh, they're included. Yeah, when things are included, it's free, right, guys? I worked in marketing, guys. Whenever it's included, it's included already in the price is what that means. Included means it's included in the price already. I worked in marketing for 10 years. Like, don't girl math me right now and say like say it's not like you're not paying for it. No such thing as a free lunch. Now it might be a bundle that makes it look better, right? Short Tesla. I'm not shorting in these environments. I don't think anything is an easy short. If I wanted an easy short, then I would more so want to see this broken. I would really want to see this come down to these type of areas. right? Maybe even cut it for a minute, bounce up, and then curl down, right? I would want to see something like this. And then I would short here, not here, because the environment is still different. This could literally do this. This could literally do that, right? With the environment we're in. If we come down to this type of area, we lose this. Oh, we cut through that a little bit. Okay, maybe when we fill gap, okay, we bounce, we curl back down. Why would that be more likely? Well, because if you just do this and you curl back up, like let's just say you come down a little bit more, well, that's just going to be something like this, and you can still go positive. It could be a little bit deeper, and it still has a good chance to go positive. So what I'd be looking for is, if I get the deep move, do I get a reaction, and does that reaction fail? And then that failure, I would say, ooh, we could see some bad news possibly within earnings, right? And I have to take into consideration that I might be going against the probabilities at that point. But yeah, I would also say this, as far as like shorting goes, bringing up shorting now is a way better thing than bringing up shorting there, right? You're kind of at, say, the opposite end. So at least you have some kind of risk to reward here. Just remember, you have sold this level. You have not taken a new high or anything like that. So yes, you do have the opportunity to dip down again, and you don't have a lot of implied volatility throughout this today. So we'll see. See if something surprising happens and you get data in a little bit. I would like to see some kind of downtrend to start to short, right? A good example of that is right here. We lose the 5, we go down to the key level, we bounce, and then we fail, right? Right when we fail, look at this right here. We fail, we get those closing bars right here. We're in negative territory by the center line. Boom. That one's a lot easier than saying this has to happen now when we're in a positive trend, and it's more likely to just do this. Right? You would be trading kind of against the trend. Your 5 is kind of a little bit of an indication of like how the trend is going. Uh-oh, dark pool sells. Uh-oh, dark pools. Wolf speed short squeeze is happening in the coming days. Already made a big move last week. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Oh! I wasn't trying to make $1 million with Wolf Speed, but I did have 10 contracts. I bought 10 contracts for 2 months, like 2 weeks ago. So I was able to benefit from it. It's not crazy money. I just did a fun play. We got to do the fun account for Wolf Speed. So for the amount I bet, it was a pretty penny, but it did not make me a huge amount of money. I will not be going and driving a new, Lambo with that. I like the stock. I think that's great. I just was like, try to make a few bucks out of these plays. It was more for fun. It's nice to see it. Let's go look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA was super lackluster, but also, what we talked about is happening here. So if we're just reading into this, 114.45 would be a nice test. Now, we'll see if data throws that for a loop in a second. PCC coming out, overall neutral down towards the call side. Neutral to the call side. Looking like it's about to go to the call side again. We'll see what happens with this in a moment, right? Data can shake all of this up, and earnings can shake all of this up. So we're watching. Believe data will be good. Possibly. We'll see. So far, so good. Nothing really to worry about. Let's come over here for a moment. Very, very nice. GME still watching that bad boy, right? Wolf's popping off, so GME, follow suit, buddy. If we're gonna short squeeze over on Wolf, do the short squeeze on GME. SoFi up 8% on the earnings. Great little blast off move. Now remember this. Careful YOLOing things after you get the report, after you see the upside, right? We look at this from the daily scale. This is great. This is fantastic. Where could you run your head into? What did we say? $14.50 to $15 right in here. And then you can go make that right shoulder that could have been, right? Now, if this is going to remain better, that would be fantastic, right? See it keep extending. But knowing that's going to happen at this point, as the daily is even almost overbought, rough spot. You would be looking for maybe a 2-hour pullback at this point would be the next real opportunity. We noticed that that could be a mean 2-hour pullback if we wanted to, but if we really want to just hold up better, go retest that 5 and just curl back up, and that could be the opportunity. If that never shows up, though, there's no trade for me here. I do not FOMO into things. Very, very nice for SoFi to do that. Things are starting to pop off over there. That's very nice. Unemployment data will be bad eventually by May and June, and markets will be back at 480 for a SPY and bearish period. Everyone has opinions, I guess. Well, here's the thing. Did they tell you at all why? Did they tell you, did they show you data that is really proving that? Or is it a trust me, bro? Did they show you technicals that are pointing towards that? Right? And I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying based on that, if someone, can I trust who says it? Right? Is Jerome Powell saying it? You know? Saying things can get worse when things are bad is very easy to say. Saying that things are bad and it could get better is something a lot different. It's something that not a lot of people can connect with. That's why on YouTube I get comments all the time saying, you're an idiot. This right here, right? Remember this? You're an idiot. Like friggin' like the Grinch. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Right? Because they're all going with everyone else. Ah, this just broke. This broke right here, so it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I just go, well, looks good to me. Right? It's hard. It's very difficult to be the person that is positive in negative times. It's hard to be the negative person in positive times. I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. I'll take it to heart. Sometimes it gets to me. My wife knows that about me. I've always been that type of person where, you know, maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know. I'm just like, with markets these days, you have to just be like, hey, you have to be very willing to be wrong also, right? You have to be very aware of how you can be wrong and be willing to be wrong. But don't be overly dramatic with being wrong, or else you're not going to see the place in front of you. A 30-minute crosses up and just squeezes, and you're not aware of it. The 5-minute divergence is right here for a day trader, and they're fearful, and they don't pay attention that there's a daily expected move right here, and you're bouncing off of it, and you're in a very positive trend on the bigger time frames, right? As long as this 2-hour is not negative, then everything can be good. You can see pullbacks, and that's perfectly fine, right? Think of it that way. As long as this 2-hour can curl up into positive territory, then it's all good. Once it starts to go negative, you can start to go, oh, we're losing the 5. We could reject, right? We could reject, right? But if this just loses it for a second, and then this ends up being a big move, and it's able to curl back up, that would be a great thing. So for the time being, what are we looking at? A 30-minute that's in positive territory. That looks like it wants to cross up. If it changes and something bad happens, okay, this starts to go negative, we will start to be more worried about it. And we'll start to say what support could turn into resistance right here. We lose that, we go to here, we go to there, and if we don't see that thing rip back up with some good news, well then we would fail, and that's when something really ugly could happen. And guess what? That would happen towards what? Thursday, Friday. If you're breaking out of moves on Thursday, Friday, it's more meaningful for continuation. But as of right now, you just stare at a 5-minute chart and you're like, all right, cool, we'll see what happens. This is not necessarily the best look in the world, that's for sure. But we haven't even lost this yet, right? That Friday low. We haven't even lost that yet. So if we lose that, you can be more worried about doing what? Well, you can be more worried about what? Using this little zone right here as resistance and heading to the downside. But until we actually lose that, there's really not much to say on the bear side just yet. And until we see a breakout to the upside, there's really not much to say on the bull side just yet either, right? So I've seen people literally calling this out. I've seen people already saying this. 590. Someone was saying 590 right up here in this area. Someone's already saying, we're going to get there, we're going to get there, we're going to get there. I can tell you right now, that is a complete guess. And if they guess that right, that is lucky. You are not seeing data that suggests getting to here is an easy thing. Now, you can see things that suggest that later, right? We break out, break through that. Okay. But we have not seen any of that yet. There's no inclination of going to 590 right now. And there's also no inclination of going to where? Like 400, 440, 420, 4 whatever. So if people are calling crash, people are calling absolute squeeze to all-time highs, there's not enough data. That you do not have enough inclination from this, and especially from price action, to suggest that. The time where you know that you're going to go back up to here is when you see if all this happens. Then you see it. If you see that this happens, oops, I just double clicked here. Hold on one second. You see if this happens. Then you know. You have more inclination, you have more probabilities at that point. Right? You have more things pointing in that direction that actually say strength to that type of level. But until we actually see that and we figure out where this thing wants to stop, you can't tell. It's not possible to tell. You're looking at 5 and looking into a 30 and a 20. Yeah, we look at the bigger. I look at the bigger time frames. I look at a 2 hour just to see, hey, and this is something that you probably should get used to, is like, let's look at the health of the daily scale. Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to look at the health of the 2 hour scale. Then I'm going to look at the health of the 30-minute scale. And then I'm going to be able to make inclination of what's going to happen. And then if I look at a 5-minute and I see that's positive, the reason I'm looking at a 5-minute is just in case anyone's like, this is really bad right now. And then you look at a 5-minute and you're just like, even on the 5-minute, you're at a good spot. All right, we have about 3.5 minutes till open. I'm going to go look at that. We actually have a data point for you for SoFi, looking like some interesting things on that side. Looks like the monthly expected move coming into play. Patreon members, for if you're trading SoFi on this earnings, just be aware you saw something crazy. You saw something crazy. It can continue to be crazy. Let's see. Someone wanting to look at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, very, very nice move, but really, really strong move, right? A lot different. So what you're looking for from CrowdStrike is, one, continuation would be a good thing. Get all the way up to 453, right? Let's actually look at this on the 2 hour scale. Because if you look, the 2 hours getting overbought, which just means somewhere up in here, look at that breakdown area. You can see the breakdown. You're right at it right now. This 2 hour most likely will go retest. Where will it retest? Well, where did we break out from? Right here, right? And where did we actually get through some major resistance? Well, you would say there's probably a box right here. Okay, so we're probably going to do something like this, and then we'll see if that thing can turn back around. That'd be fantastic. Let's see if it happens. Or at least, if I am going to buy this, right? If I am going to trade this, is now when I want to be going long? Is now the best time to be going long? Or did I just miss out on a move and I'm trying to FOMO into it? Fear of missing out. If you missed out, you missed out. That's pretty much the rule. So if the 2 hour can confirm back down though and retest some key levels and show support, well, now we can go up to this type of level. Now we can break through that level. And maybe I'll look at a weekly expected move next week and be like, okay, cool. I made the weekly expected move. Okay, that's coming in where? All right, it's coming in right here. Okay, so then we see this come down this week. Next week, we go up to this type of level. Then we probably come down to retest back into that, right? It could be more simple, at least if you look for where's the actual opportunity, not is this, I have to take this right now because I have to make money right now. If not making money right now meant you were going to make a $10,000 play next week, wouldn't you say yes to that every time? Right? If you knew, right? You don't know. But if you did know that this was going to be your $10,000 play right here, and this was going to go up to here, wouldn't you be very patient at that point and be like, yeah, I'll wait for that? But the problem is that we want it now, right? We want things now. We want it quick. We want it quick. We want it quick. Just be a little patient with it. I was just wondering if I should take profits. Oh, I don't necessarily have the weekly expected move. But if you really look at that from the, I'll look at it again, but if you look at that from the 30-minute perspective, you might get one more little move up, right? But that's the thing. It's starting to make a bunch of divergences there. It's starting to get up to that previous breakdown area. So I would say, without weekly expected moves, if I caught this thing anywhere around, let's say even 400, if I bought that at 400 and it's at 426, I'm looking like, yeah, this thing will back off eventually, right? And the important part in those type of moves is just like be one of the guys that makes money. Is kind of how it works, right? Be one of the guys that makes money. It's like GME. Who are the people who suffered from GME and AMC? Well, the people who didn't take profit, right? The people who got in at the lows, right? The people who got in at the lows and still held on the entire time that thing went to $150 from $4 or whatever. Yeah, I would say that you can understand how taking profit on the way up is a good thing. You can always leave runners and things like that, right? We talk about that all the time. All right, let's go check on that data as it did just come out. We see that the JOLTS job openings coming in at 7.192 million, which is lower than expected, lower than the forecast, lower than the consensus, and lower than the previous. So all lower numbers, and now we have to see how this is going to affect the price, right? Once again, we'll see what the data does, but it's important to understand what the money does after you get the data report. That's what I'm really watching for. And really, not too bad. I'll keep the shorter time frames over on my other charts. This will help a little bit. Pretty good there. See what you guys are chatting about. Come on, Target, let's go. Oh, Jolts was really bad, huh? David, thank you so much for subscribing this morning. Appreciate you being here. My day trade idea is Luca, and if I have a win rate of 75%, you join me with some day trading deal. I'll donate $100 to start off. Okay, I'll use the fun account with you if we decide to do it. Okay, Tony. I don't mind wasting $100 of my own to join you in something for fun. I've done it with Richard before. It's just, me and Richard always do those lotto plays every once in a while. I feel like once a quarter, me and Richard do like a lotto play with like $200 or something. I think it's gone right. I think it's gone right for us, what, once, Richard? One out of 3? But we're just like, hey, this looks fun, let's buy it. And then we do it. Position size, right? You think Jolts was good? Well, let's see. The price action says it's good. Price action doesn't say it's bad right now. Doesn't say it's really good. It doesn't say it's really bad. It's chilling. I do too, Dubs. That'd be fun. I already called this move with the chips last Wednesday. Now we'll put money where our mouth is. Let's go, Tony. Where are you positioned next, Tony? I'm not maybe I won't follow you on this one, but I just want to see where your head's at. I want to see what you're seeing. I mean, not bad. Slow little grind here. Another slow grind kind of day. Nice wick, though, on the 5-minute there. Coming down for the test of breakout, it looks like. Pretty much an even low, too. Very nice. Very nice. I don't think I have watched Project Popcorn. Can you look at the Googmeister? Yeah, we can go look at Googmeister real quick. Oh, wow, okay. This will actually have some 5-minute stuff to potentially go off of, maybe even a 15-minute. That might be a little bit rejection looking. Very, very nice. Means pretty good things, right? Where are we testing into? Well, let's look. Where's that white line? Why is that white line there? Well, that white line might be there because of this, because of these little guys in here. That white line might be in there because of this. It might be because of that little wick right there. Might be because of this. Might be because of this. Might be because of this and this. So I'd say that's a pretty important level. So if I see a 30-minute do this off of that, break through this level right here, what do you think it would mean? Well, I think it means you're probably attempting to get to where? Maybe the next white line. That would be fantastic. Let me see what happens. But we got to get confirmation first. You do not see confirmation yet from the price action. You don't see it from the... you actually are getting it slightly for the RSI. I lied to you. RSI is trying to do it. Price action now trying to do it. You got 24 minutes left for that. MACD follows. Boom, boom, boom. Very, very nice. GME, hopefully that continues to see upside. This needs to show that 2-hour confirmation. I want 2-hour momentum behind this. 2-hour momentum behind this, you got a chance. 2-hour momentum behind this, you have a chance. You have a chance here. If it does this, though, you start to see that. You start to see this, just a little move like this. You want to see big strength. You don't want that thing looking back. China waives tariffs on U.S. ethane imports. It's happening. Oh, but remember, China's the big dog here, guys. China's the one that's in the control seat. China. It's not that, like, you know, every single person in their economy is suffering right now. No, it can't be that. No, they're really, we're the ones in panic mode. China's not reacting at all in a positive way. They're never going to. Yeah, till they do. Donald Trump, we're talking to China. China, we're not talking to Donald Trump. And everyone believes China. Or I'm sorry, Richard. Or no, not Richard. Where's Willow? He wants me saying West Taiwan. Let's pick up an Apple. I actually like that Google look. I think Google looks nice. Look for the 30-minute swing now. I mean, we're above the 5, so swings will get easier. I'm sure gamma flip lines around here somewhere. I'm sure people are paying attention to that. GME looks nice. Want it to continue. Need that to continue. 5-minute for the SPY trying to confirm. We don't have much room with daily moves the way Qs and SPY are roaring. That being said, if some kind of news comes out, hey, you can see a little roar here. We'll find out. I'm saying just positive trend, right? If it gets that daily move, what's the plan? What's the plan if I get to the daily move? If I'm in this, let's say I'm trading this and I took calls for Friday, and my calls are maybe because I keep saying 562. Maybe I just go, oh yeah, I'm looking for 562 by Friday. Okay, well, if this goes like this, is that going to be good money? Is that good enough money? Should I for the day maybe take decision-making areas into consideration? Right? Decision-making area. And then I can leave runners. 562 is the target. Okay, decision-making area. Maybe I want to leave a couple more just to get lucky. All right, it gets to 567. I go, thank you, full profit. Done. Anything past that, don't really care. Trade over. Right? If I don't have a lot of time to expiration, I want to be taking my money. Right? And since I have some key levels to watch here, we break through this, we get to here. Awesome. It really looks like GDP will, and nobody is talking about it. Nobody have you seen anyone talk about in the news GDP coming in weak? Like seriously, have you seen that spammed everywhere? If something that we see looks kind of worrisome down the line and no one's talking about it, maybe they will start to talk about it after something happens, right? Maybe once you actually see red, they'll start to talk about it. Maybe earnings clouds everyone's judgment and we get a bad GDP, but earnings shoots us up higher and then we fall because next week people start to print in the media, GDP, GDP. We'll see. Mad Dog, I want to point something out to you. Which way is the stock market going right now? Up. Is it algorithmic? Yes. So, would the people who want the media to print that type of info be saying that right now? No. Here's the thing. If it is estimated that a bad piece of data is coming, and stocks are doing this, they're going to talk about that bad piece of data, and then it'll probably be a surprise and go up. But guess what? If they're talking about a bad piece of data coming here, right, coming soon to a theater near you, AMC maybe, if they're talking about a bad piece of data coming both as we're going up, then that's usually probably going to extend for a little bit and fake you out in some way. But I'm saying they're not talking about this. So if they are not talking about something, I don't think they're talking about it as much as they should, at least. I don't think I've seen it really at all. So if this actually goes up and they're not talking about something and you see it as, whoa, why aren't they talking about this? Watch out. Right? Now, that's not going to work every single time. The most important thing is following the price action, following the money, following the momentum, following the price action. That's going to be the best thing. What price action are we seeing now? Positive. Meta's in a weird spot. Meta's in a very weird spot, and anything can go with this type of earnings because you are not even close. You still haven't broken through really cleanly the key levels here. You're actually at it right now. Right? You're pretty much there. Right on the bottom of this wick here. You see how we've used that as resistance, resistance. We burst through it. We come back through it again. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Oh, is this the moment? Could be. I think Meta needs time to get up to that 585.26. 585.26. That'd be nice. For the time being, we're just sitting. We're just sitting. Meta platforms, insiders sold. Boys, quiet. Sorry, I think a boy was here this morning. Well, just so you know, insiders will sell and sell and sell and sell on the way up, right? This is what, okay, so smart money, dumb money. So how does smart money, dumb money track? Well, smart money, usually as it's going down, right? As the stock market's going down, what's happening to smart money? They're starting to buy, it's going up. This is why at bottoms, you'll potentially see a peak in smart money. And then what happens as stocks go up? Well, smart money starts to go down. They sell into the buying, right? So if smart money is selling right now, it's when is it actually peak selling? Because peak selling could be here. If peak selling for the smart money is at this level, then you would say, you know, dumb money is potentially buying, right? So soon, you're probably going to see a moment where if you go pull up the smart money, dumb money, you're going to see smart money like this, and you're going to see dumb money like this. This trend is not even below the 5 yet. Nothing really to worry about. Once it changes, we'll change, but till we see that change, I ain't doing nothing. I'm McChillin'. McChillin'. Oh, my daughter's so excited. Her best friend is here. Yeah, to Mad Dog. Let's do that. Let's just find out what he's saying. That's a good idea. He's like, man, earnings are gonna be fantastic. Not mentioning GDP, I would bet. And the thing is, GDP could be a total nothing burger. But I will read into the fact, like in my brain, I'm still reading into the fact that just about 2 weeks ago, I looked at those numbers for GDP and they were negative, and now they're positive 0.5. They're still really weak. If you get a negative GDP, watch out. But It looks like it adjusted, at least adjusted. I'm always skeptical about data. I'm always very like, why is the data changing? I don't like it. Well, wouldn't this be the demand? I mean, maybe excuse me if I'm incorrect, but wouldn't this be the time people are adjusting to tariffs? And before those tariffs were in place, they probably made a bunch of moves trying to do stuff, do stuff, do stuff. So maybe GDP comes out tomorrow morning before the open, before the open, before the open. Gap, 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 gap. But here we could shake off GDP if we see if we see deals, right? So if we go down from GDP, and then we see a deal from China, a deal from India come in the next 2 to 3 weeks, or at least a de-escalation in China in the next 2 to 3 weeks, people will completely forget about GDP. That's why you follow the money. A negative GDP should send us lower, right? But nope, it doesn't have to. If we just see, oh, a deal's done. Oh, yay. It does come. Does it come before the open, Sebastian? Are you sure? Comes out an hour before the open, 1 hour before the open. Now you have a 5-minute divergence here for the time being. Just keeping you aware of the shorter time frames, meaning there is some risk of heading to the downside on the 5-minute scale to possibly go test that 5-day moving average. I am down 1% on my target investment. 5 days sitting at about 547. I still think we could be, overall going sideways. Oh, you bought the option on it? No, I was just like, I'll invest. I'll just buy that bad boy. Let's look at volatility, right? So if volatility is going to turn back up, wow, what a moment to do it would be. So if I'm really worried in these areas and say I'm to the call side, hey, wouldn't this be, a signal that can convince me to make a decision? Right? You don't have to be at these areas. You can make a decision based on, maybe I want to hedge. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. Because volatility says, ooh, this 2 hours really beat up. It's been beat up for a while. Hey, this thing could go up. This thing could go up. But is it above the 5 yet? Is it really something to worry about? SMA 5 is what I like to use. Me too, but I believe, okay, good. We're caught up. I would like to see a reaction here from volatility in some way. That'd be a good thing. Yeah, I'd really be watching that volatility to see if it ever takes back the 5 and see if the SPY loses the 5. You're not seeing too much strength from the dollar. Housing sector showing, ooh, just lackluster. Really, really looking, ooh, fishy, fishy, fishy. VVIX popped, dropped. What's the 9-day? 9-day vol. Ooh, a little bit flaggy here. Mags. Ooh, no confirmation up yet. Qs, did they at least confirm? They trying to? They're trying to. They're trying to. They're saying, hey, take a chance on me, baby, in 10 minutes. But man, I'd pay attention if something goes wrong. Looks like pullback coming. It looks like pullback has developed into the most likely scenario. Whether that will be this again. You could see this right now and it would make sense. You could see this right now and it makes sense. And really, if we look at the 2-hour scale, right, looking at multiple time frames, this would make a lot of sense as well. Let's see where that would land us, really, if we got to there. 0.38, 0.5 zone. People really go into the put side. Five-minute trying to confirm on the SPY, not on a good confirmation just yet. But it is suggesting there is potential weakness at this level. That 545 might need another test there. Yeah, we might go retest all the way back down in here, actually. Crash and be done with it. Hey, I'm down. We look at SPY. Yeah, I'll take a look on my other chart real quick. SPY starting to give a good signal here for the 5 minutes, suggesting that downside for the time being seems pretty likely in these areas. We'll see if it can hold up better in this area. But for direction for the day, that 5 minute pointing directly down towards at least the 5-day moving average towards 547, which means what? Hey, which means turning down like this, maybe to retest breakout. But also, this is more, possible at this point with what we're seeing on the 5 minute. But no movement so far. Let me go look at spot. This spot. Spot. Big drop down. So here's the thing. If you're an investor and you were thinking about buying at 600, well, you just got it for 10% off. Am I touching that at all? Hell no. Am I touching the 2 hour at all? Hell no. Am I touching the daily at all? Hell no. I ain't looking for that. Now, this is a pretty good level, though. But as far as it stands, there's no real technical side to do that, right? The technical's wiped out. Now, you did have some inclination from the technicals of weakness and momentum, and then you got bad news, so you're seeing a massive move. But yeah, there's nothing really to go off there unless you were thinking about investing and you just see a cheaper price. You are retesting back into a pretty good level of about 550, 545. Not bad. But to say like, oh, there's a super easy option play there is a lie. If anything, you'd be looking for a bounce on the 30 minute and looking for that bounce to get sold. Right, Jack Cats? Amazon just said this was never a consideration for the main Amazon site about tariff prices being listed. So they just weren't really worrying about it. Looking at the 5 minute, by the way, this is the only thing that's worrisome on the 5 minute right here. You see divergence, MACD, RSI. This means a test of the 5 or coming down to the daily expected move becomes more probable. 30 minute is not confirmed up, which means it can confirm back down, which means on the 15 minute, maybe we see a divergence down there. That'd be fantastic. That'd be great. But maybe we don't. If we start to lose these type of levels and we use the 5-day as resistance at this point, that's the real volatility we're watching out for. Yeah, Jack Cat. Sorry, I just had to kind of talk about it, but that one, you can't really show anything and be like, oh, yeah. Unless you're looking at investing and you're like, hey, yeah, this is the breakout area. It's right in the middle of some supply for the most part. Okay, awesome. Gotta lose 550. I'd have to agree with you on that. That's why day trading still seems a little bit easier, even in this environment right now. And then this might turn into the big swing, especially if we come down like this. If we come down like this again, and then it's able to resolve itself and it turn to the upside, that swing would be pretty damn good. But we haven't seen anything this morning, right? We're just reading into things because nothing is really taking place for the moment. Just a bunch of news that is making people sit. Join the dark side, Lucas. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll take something into Friday. Give myself a little time, Tony. Semiconductors giving back a bit. I'll go check on the NVIDIAs of the world. Does it look like it will hit 487 this week? For the exact moment right now, you're in that in between, right? You're retesting the high, right? We can see this. We retest that high, 30-minute, very, very tight. Retesting the high. That's all you get. That's all you get. What you're really hoping for from this, especially if you're a day trader, is the same thing as last time, right? This is kind of saying, sell me down to 468, sell me down to 466. And if it fails, very easy. Okay, stop right here. But what you're looking for is this again. This would be fantastic to see it again. Right? Not really inclined too short in this environment. We're above the 5. Until we're below the 5, I'm not really doing anything. Waiting. Patient, patient, patient. Because while everyone's paying attention to all the bad things, they're not realizing you're in a pretty solid 30-minute positive trend, solid 2-hour trend, solid even 5-minute trend. If we really want to talk about it. Tony's saying, yeah, 468, then bounce to 473, and end day at 466 or even 462. Really? Interesting. We'll see. SPY seeing a lot more weakness. Let me look. Let me look here for Meta. Okay, let me talk about Meta for a second. All right. Okay. Meta has earnings tonight. Meta. It does not matter if there's a bull flag. It genuinely does not matter. It is a 50-50 flip. The real trade to be had was when that 2-hour confirmed up and you're able to trade it and say thank you before earnings and let these crazy FOMO-y kind of people do what they want to do. At least that's how I view it, okay? That's how I do things. I don't necessarily care about earnings. Wednesday night. Yeah, I clicked on it over here and I just blipped in my mind. But yeah, it says Wednesday night. But here's the thing. So what had a good earnings that affected Meta? Wasn't it Google? Why did we assess that Google could have a good earnings? Well, advertising money. Okay, so if Meta is in that realm, right? If Meta has good advertising revenue, you could see a similar reaction. But that's really the only way I think to read into it. I don't think you can really just say like, oh yeah, Meta's going to be good. Oh yeah, Meta's going to be bad, and I know that with a high percentage chance. I think you're just like, okay, we're probably going to need some kind of news to shoot us up to like 562. So what earnings do I have? Okay, that. But do I want to really bet on that? Probably not. So now I am completely sitting on the sidelines now, right? I sold my SPY calls. 80% profit from the low there, from just looking at that 5-minute. Now I don't take 0 DTE or 1 DTE or 2 DTE, but I'll take a couple of weeks out, make a little bit of profit there, watch something advance pretty quickly. Once I see that 5-minute, I can go, okay, that's the risk. That was my plan. Hey, if I see 5-minute confirm any kind of divergence today, I'm out. If it curls back up, you know what I'll do? Probably get back in. Sorry for spamming more timestamp ideas to review our business deal, Tony. No, you can keep talking, Tony. It's good. I like reading it. It's not bugging me at all. And then if this confirms right back up, you know what I can do? I can go in again. Holy crap. Just reacting. Reacting with my plan. And guess what? If this goes like this and people are going to go, man, you should have held those SPY calls. I go, really? That's really easy to tell in hindsight. But I'm following my plan. If I saw weakness here today at all, then I'm saying I don't need to take the risk. And that's it. I'm not willing to assume the risk. I would rather be patient for days here, let the market do whatever the market wants to do, let the market do whatever the market wants to do, let the market, okay, I'll take that one. If I decide to, day trade with Tony or something, maybe I'll do it a couple times on the fun account, but not really a day trader, so. Riot, bullish divergence on the daily, right? Other opportunities pop up. That's why I like this channel. You guys show me some cool stuff. Watch out for the break of that level. That wouldn't be necessarily a good thing. Daily divergence is there. 2-hour pullback, very, very likely here. And it is showing you that pullback. So this coming all the way back down to 650 is very possible. This filling the gap is still possible. Now, is it the most probable? You're more looking at that $7 to 650 range. But if you get down to 627-ish, that would be perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't need to make money every single day, right? I can chill. Yeah, there's just a little something there. What is TLT doing, actually? I should go look at that. TLT just squeezing to the upside. Now, if we would set one more trap to the upside, that would be a rough business, I think. But this next move, pretty important if we go bullish here, I think. Pretty important to see strength. It'd be nice to see something like boom, boom, boom to see if we get that to continue. Hey, Sebastian, thank you so much for the $5 in the super chat there. Well, not next, still not USD, right? What? Pound? What is that? What's that symbol? Is that euro, pound? I don't freaking know. HGX is absolutely vomiting here. That is not a good sign. I will say that. This absolutely vomiting right now is not cool. This, not cool. Not cool to see. Down almost 1%. 2 hours saying, hey, I need to pull back, man. I need to test something down in here. I need to fill that gap. I need to come down into these areas. Ugh, that's not a pretty picture. Damn, if we're not able to get to 562 at all, that would be fucking rough, dude. That would not be a good sign. Let's do some reading here for a second. I think you're going to see a pullback from these areas in some way, a bigger pullback from these areas, especially if you show excitement. So it depends on how we get there, right? How we get there will be more important. If we get there by going, and then we like flag and then break through, that's a lot different. But if we get there by being like really tight move right here and then we fall, that would be a problem, right? If it's more drawn out, that's better, right? You can remain higher up. But I think you're going to sell off from those levels like almost no matter what. It just depends on, do we create structure to actually get to here? Do we squeeze to here? Or are we going to stop here with bad signals, see something bad come out? But for the time being, we're just watching, waiting. But it's like, hey, if we don't even get to 562, oof, that's rough. Here, I'll go look at my, let's look at the SPX zone. Right, if we reject from below here in any way, that's not a good sign. I need to take a deeper look at volatility real quick. Okay, gap level, gap support possible. Gap resistance at the same time. We're in it. Oh boy, buckle up. That's right, Abram. Come on, Spy. Cut the bullshit. Oh, God. I would love for this to confirm up and set a trap. I would love for it to do this. Amazon's got earnings this week, so it's not really on my radar for the time being. I think it could see one more 30-minute move to the upside. 30-minute curling up. Curling up. This move's pretty important. We got to see how this move goes. Rumble was a little glitchy. I'm thinking about just doing the stream on YouTube today. It's been glitchy on my end as well. Freaking Rumble. Then we'll switch back maybe in a little while. Trying to think about it. I might not be able to do a closing stream the next couple of days. My wife has an appointment tomorrow, and I got to take care of baby girl today and tomorrow. So I'll most likely be watching stocks, from my phone or bringing my laptop upstairs. Back to the SPY. 5-minute here. Good consolidation for the time being. Slightly to the upward direction, though. I'd like to see that consolidation a little bit down to get to that 5-day. It's a rumble over there. We have fun over on Rumble though. Did your daughter start trading? Yes. In order to what? In order to get my own water back from her, I have to trade a binky. maybe I'll give her all my target stock and all my dividend exponential growth later. NVIDIA for the time being, you're still just seeing, hey, can we get that 30-minute move, right? Can we set up something up here? Can we get past some key levels? Can we break through? That would be the big deal for that. Just volatility is always looming, right? It's really tapered off, right? Coming down, taper, taper, right? If we just look at this and we take a line, we go, wow, that was really plummeting. Then it kind of shifted, right? Then it kind of shifted some more, right? Which means volatility is prepping and saying, hey, I need to fail this move. I need to fail this. I need the 30-minute to curl down and ruin this tapering. Because if it doesn't, that means this is an opportunity for volatility to come back in. And this means what for our trades? Well, this means that we should maybe be paying a little bit of attention if that fails to upside. If it confirms up and gets back above the 5, we need to be paying attention to here and here. And it's great. They're at very key levels, which is fantastic. You literally have a daily expected move here. That's awesome. And you literally have the weekly expected move right here. That's awesome. And you know what we like to see? Okay, we're talking about the daily being able to rotate down. You know what you see in bear markets? In bear markets, 2-hour drop, 2-hour pop, 2-hour falls, sell in May and go away. Oh, May at bottoms. Ooh, that could get interesting. Or maybe it's sell, up, all right? The 2-hour. 2-hour likes to make those divergences during bear market. So we'll see if something like that shapes up. That would be fantastic. I would be so down. But for the time being, the 30-minute just crosses up. Oh, that's good. So how do we know if the 2-hour is going to cross down? Well, if the 2-hour is going to cross down, we would see something like this. GDP, good earnings saves it. No, and then it falls back down. Hopefully it's just a pullback at that point, but yeah, and the fact that like the fact that this, you're mentioning semiconductors are a good hint. The fact that this could shape up for NVIDIA, right, has not broken through any of this. Not even close. Hasn't broken through this. Where is that? Why did we mark this off? Well, it's important, right? Boom, boom, got up towards it. Boom, right here. We look back, support, gap up to it, right? So very important. Look, support here again, right? Very important level. So if we do something like this, we fail, it's kind of a big deal. Guess what? If you do something like this and you fail, coming down to lower levels, losing the 5 maybe. All right, so you got to be quick with it and make sure you're following direction pretty well. Pretty insane. 5-minute tried to save itself. So far, it is failing. See? Oh, curl up, set it up, baby. Oh, you're sitting sideways. Sitting sideways. What's that song? Boys in the Gang. Thoughts on Palantir short? I mean, you're looking for the fade play in some way. I mean, you have monthly expected moves to help you out with that. I like milk, right? But the monthly expected moves are going to change soon. we have confirmation of failure. That no confirmation for failure on the 5-minute. No confirmation of upside yet for the 30-minute, except for on your RSI. Your MACD's lagging behind. Price action looking okay. If you hate the market, don't trade it. Wait till you love the market, then trade it. Keep my eye actually on, let's screw the 5-minute. I'm going to go keep my eye on volatility, man. My goodness. Mark it down, Carter. Mark it down and be like, this is not a good trading environment for me. Right? If you're struggling in a certain period of time trading and you've noticed there are times where you're better, well then, you know, it's not the same market as a year ago where you could just literally like what? You know, you could throw a dart at a wall and probably hit a winning stock. But it's unfortunate. It's just that's the game. It's happened to everyone, right? You've been doing a strategy, it's working, it's working, it's working, it's working. Then for a month, you're like, wow, what the hell? When VIX hits 2613, we will be at 468. Then the bounce. Then the bounce. I would love one day to sit with you and show you my charts and how price action plays out. Hey, maybe when we bump up a Discord in this community, we'll see about it. Maybe once baby girl turns 2. That's what one of my permable people say. They just go, "Hey, buy calls." Some markets, it's that simple. This one, not so simple, right? Not fully simple yet. This still looks like it is changing into that easy bull market where it's like, oh, a 30-minute pullback. Oh, the 30-minute confirmed above the 9. Oh, I can take calls. Oh, I can hit a weekly expected move. You're not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. Yeah, as far as dip buying, if you're actually buying the dip, not trading the dip, it's different. All right, let's see. I gotta look at some other things here. We're really struggling to get through that. I wonder, do we have like a put level to pay attention to, a call level to pay attention to here? What is it? SPY. Whoa, whoa. Big stuff there. 560, 550, 555. 556 has been so steady. $564. Look for Friday. 600. Lot of puts out there. 540, 535. 535 would be great. And 600 to the call side. Oh no. The way we're acting right now is really just like, man, are we just going to sit here until end of day? VIX breakdown. We gotta check. Not fully yet. Just needs to show me that low. Show me something below 2460 and hold down there. You can fail this kind of stuff. You're really compressing now, which means something is coming. I like Walmart better. Hey, that's great. Pushing to ban. Oh no, Willow. Target moved up 3 cents. Ooh, we're rich. Getting rich out there. Yeah, it's pretty uncertain, Verb, but you can get around that. Just use bigger time frames. Do it a little slower. I think bigger time frames aren't like the absolute best thing in the world, but also being patient is part of the game too. So wait for the right environment. Oh yeah, sorry, my daughter's rich. That Target belongs to her. She loves going to Target. All the diapers and toys that she can imagine. I guess 3:55 Eastern is the move. Oh god. It's nice to see the dollar coming back. It's just this is not good. That's not a great sign. But we'll see. Maybe the SPY is able to get one of these type of moments. But HGX, man, that thing going down, not a great sign. Volatility still holding. Not the best sign in the world, guys. But stock market do what the stock market want to do. The most important thing is, does the price action confirm make a new high, able to go up to 556? Then we'll look for a trap. If there's a trap right now, then we should never confirm this 30-minute up. There's a trap right now. We should see a nice 30-minute bar that wipes all of this out. And then takes us below this, actually below this level right here. Then we can see if we get... You end up down here. Ooh. Watch out for the rejections there. But also, is this really that bad? 2 hour just looks like pullback, so there's a lot of directions it could go. Trading like water seems like the best option for right now. Yeah, so Rumble stream today. We won't have a Rumble stream today. We won't have a Rumble stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? So we won't have a Rumble stream tomorrow. And then Thursday, Friday, we'll have some those closing streams. So apologies for no closing stream today. But Verb, hopefully you got some useful information from that. And you got to wait for your opportunities, right? We're not even at a weekly expected move. We're not at a daily expected move. We're not anywhere. So if you're trying to move money now, based on what you just learned, hey, this is a time to be potentially patient. You're trying to learn and then immediately trade with that knowledge during an earnings week, during a GDP week, during something that is, I would say not necessarily complex, but just a lot of risk of volatility or some kind of unexpected move coming at some point. Time to focus on crypto. Maybe we'll go look at crypto. That 4 hour looked decent for bit. Holy. Dollar coming back. It's nice. PCC going down for the time being. 0.8, kind of neutral. A little bit towards the call side. Yeah, just waiting. That's good. Practice your patience, and you could try to see, you could still try to use your skills and practice here, especially if you're going to try to day trade with it. You got to be looking at those shorter time frames, looking at where you're at and going, okay, well, how would I do things here? All right, maybe I do it like this. See if it's right. You don't have to risk money in these times. It's a tough week to get started, right? You really want to be patient and make sure the first one's a good one, and then be patient again, make sure the second one's a good one. Then be patient again and wait for the third one to be a good one. And guess what? It might go against you. Then you get to practice what? Managing your trade. right, so now we watch for traps towards 556 if we can make a new high here. A new high for the day. Yeah, it's just not moving. We could sit sideways until like what? The last hour of the day now. Maybe not though. Come on, pop up a little bit more. Waiting for a ward, damn it. Right, Vic, show me a close below 2460. Let's go to the Qs for a bit. We can go to Qs. See if I catch anything over here. IWM. Ooh, IWM finally trying to test that 5-day. Really would like 200 tested. A rejection there for IWM. Yeah, I just don't know if there's necessarily like good money to be made there. DIA able to break through. It's got to get through 407. I feel like I could do a better job of volatility. Let me look on the daily scale. That center line. Let me use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back. Spy starting to see some good things. Confirmation in a couple of minutes. Hey, that'd be great. Get to, or I'm sorry, the Qs here. 478.50 would be nice. Be right back. Alrighty. It's kind of slow. Sorry about that, guys. Kind of slow, though. Baby girl went to the kitchen for a sec, washed my hands, and then she was like closing the door on me. She wouldn't let me out. XLU moving up is a good sign. You are correct. That is a good sign. Look at that dip all the way down to that 71.21 I had marked. Wow, crazy. Running into some key stuff there. For an attempt to get to, say, something like 83.50, we need to see that break above 80.50 and see it held as support. Take the cut. You'd send it through there's a PayPal link in the description. There's a donation link for PayPal down in the description. We did get confirmation for the 30 minutes, so something like 478 for the Qs has opened up. That has opened up. Got to make sure things go right, but this is a good time to see if we're going to get something good to the upside. Man, are we just going to reject off the 50? My goodness, where's the 50 sitting now? 560. 560 is a big call wall as well for the SPY. Okay. What do you say? $100. Put it now on VIX and remove end of day tomorrow. Okay, for PayPal. All right, you want it right now. Like, you mean at this exact moment, Tony. You want me to follow you on this one? You got 5-minute divergence still formed here, so like this could technically be your fake out still. You want to do that? Oh gosh. Trending back down for now. Following GME pretty closely here. We want to see now if the 30-minute reverses the signal. Good thing to watch now is the management of the trade would be the 15-minute crosses down here. We see the risk, right? 15-minute crosses down. Hey, we can head down to some potentially 466.28 for the QQQ. Right, that would be the management of the trade plan. A word on the 100. I'll go check, but I put you know, I don't mind doing it on the fun account. So Wolfie Boy made some money there, so I do not mind. Front running. Let's see for rate. Boom. Oh, the fun account. All right, 5-minute reverses from here. We're not able to break through the previous point of 553, 553.54. Rejection still possible here for 466 as well for the Qs. Not able to break above 474.80. So we will be paying attention here. 15-minute crosses back down through that 9. That would suggest that moving to the downside and potential double top to send you down to 455 is on the table. We'll see if anything changes, but as of right now, pointing to the upside, just giving you the thing to potentially react to. Wanted to make sure to talk about that, as I'll have to hop off in just a moment here. We're chilling for now. A few more minutes. Need the 15 minutes to whip back up for the VIX to really show something there. Let's see what GME is able to say. GME trying to reverse it back down. Oh man, you were able to make the new thing there too. 2 hours still looks so good. 30 minutes still positive, we'll see, but now I can go negative, so now's the time to be a little bit on guard. Hims, a lot of people making what? Some weird bets for Hims. Hims, great level for resistance. 38 is where I would have faded it. 38 all the way down. Maybe you can hold up around 31.30. If not, you could go fill the gap down towards $28 and then see what happens. So for Hims, you know, got to be patient with it. Something that would be a better trade setup would be something like this on the 2 hour or something all the way down like this. Retest into here. If you retest the top side of that, that would be good. If you break down to this side, watch out for this. Nothing too bad yet. Still 30-minute confirmed up. Nothing crazy happening just yet. Need your opinion on Netflix? On Netflix, it would be, wow, that is a super high price, and I think that that bad boy might just have to dump off pretty soon. Doesn't have to, though, right? Never has to. Right? Has to is not the right language, but if you're really looking at a 30-minute from, okay, look at this, look at this. We'll do it backwards. If you look at the daily from Netflix, right? And I'm just talking about, you know, even an option play here or, you know, some kind of investment, right? Okay, do I want to be buying here? Probably not. The time to buy was here, right? We see the divergence. We see that confirm on a bad bar. You get the fall through good bar. Hey, if I wanted to get in early with RSI and price action, it would be right here around that 945, we'll say, right? But to talk about it now, it's overbought, right? Now you can see that overbought for a period of time, but you never know when that's just going to stop. So it's like, hey, I can look for little 2 hour things, right? If the 2 hour pulls down a little bit, hey, it can go up a little bit. But for the time being, your 2 hours way up there. Your 30-minute is showing a ton of weakness and momentum here. So this means Netflix is probably hitting the end of the road soon, which means the 2 hours probably going to pull back, which means you're probably going to retrace. If you get a good retrace here, I would say like $1,000 is always good, but I would say this gap fill right here. There's always the opportunity to go fill more gaps, right? 90, 930. So from the daily perspective, yeah, it looks really strong and it will most likely continue, but you're probably going to need to retest in here, right? Retesting in here, even cutting that a little bit to go all the way down to where the breakout really started, right? The gap right here, fantastic to get all the way down to there. And then that, if all of this would happen, that'd be fantastic. And I would say now it's an opportunity, right? But you literally could see just this, you could see this, you could see this. It's just, you know, FOMOing now when everything's overbought is just rough, right? I would rather, if I'm a FOMOer, I would rather FOMO like here, right? I would see I would see a low and at least be like, oh, there's a daily divergence and a 200 there. Okay, I'm gonna FOMO this for 2 months, right? That to me makes more sense. FOMOing at a high for more highs, rough, right? So if I'm FOMOing here, I would rather at least probably take this play and risk, you know, an amount of money, pay attention to position size than say like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen. Like, oh yeah, that's going to happen right now. It can, that's fine. But most of the time when we're overbought, you know, you're going to see these little pullbacks that give you a hint. Right, so if I'm short here and I just go, oh yeah, I'm just going short, and I go, oh, the 2 hours kind of just going sideways, 2 hours going sideways, 2 hour continues to go sideways, and then just curls up, I can be like, okay, that short's not going to work out. And you'll lose money because of, you know, the decay in it and stuff like that. My investment's up 0.27. Take 1,000. I hope so. Yeah, I think 1,000 would be a great level where you're probably going to gravitate towards. But I'm more talking about being patient for the potential opportunity. Q's 15-minute here, not the best look in the world at this point. So I'm going to click through on some 30-minute charts here. I think Netflix, kind of rough. I think, let's see, Apple, starting to look rough for Apple, man. That's just, you're going to have to see something crazy and be able to break through. You're starting to look like a 2-hour pullback is coming. Now, we just hope that squeeze, you're in that time where squeezes can happen. But man, let me go look at some data here. Wouldn't be a bad thing. And then what for Apple? Yeah, it just seems pretty lackluster to start off. Oh, but that's that earnings priced into it, so you can't even look really at Apple. Damn, you have to take everything with a grain of salt here. That sucks. Okay, let's see if the SPY failed its signal at all yet. Let's see, at least the 5-minute, if we confirmed another divergence point. No, you still haven't even confirmed that yet, so we'll see. Building, building, building. Yeah, you just can't really. I mean, this looks like double top could be forming here. We just got to see. Wait for confirmations, but flaggy on that 5-minute. Anyway, what we need to be watching for here, right? We're watching a 15-minute chart just to see if the failure for the trade, right? If the 30-minute crosses up, okay, then the 15-minute can't cross down, or else that could be failing. Now we'll look for the second opportunity, possibly down towards that 544.73 if that's going to take place. But for the time being, things are pointing that way, right? Things are pointing that way, starting to shift a little bit. We'll see if that 15-minute can confirm down, lose that 5-day moving average. This is when it would be a big deal. We'll be paying attention and seeing what happens. But for the time being, that's what I'm watching for. Still looking for if we are going to get that confirmation just to say, hey, we're going up. We got the confirmation, but is it going to remain okay? Or is the 15-minute going to cross down saying manage the trade? So these are the main things I'm paying attention to. It's nice to see the dollar coming back a little bit. It's nice to see XLU seeing positivity, but something a little bit worrisome is still just HGX seeing kind of a lackluster morning. Not necessarily the best thing. And volatility showing off a bunch of reversal signals here. It's not necessarily the best sign in the world, right? It's not necessarily the best sign in the world. So we'll be watching it, right? Trading like water is very important here. Paying attention to your risk, paying attention to your reward, and understanding when something is going wrong can be a great thing. But I do have to hop off for the morning here. We won't have live streams for at the end of the day for the next couple of days, but we will be live here on YouTube in the morning. And we do see the 15 trying to break down or I'm sorry, the 5-minute trying to confirm another form of divergence here for the SPY, holding every divergence point. So this is starting to look like a risky area for the time being, and we'll see if we can go retest that 545, see if we can retest that 535 by the end of the day. End of the day, maybe going into tomorrow. All right, guys. I know it's been kind of a slow grind for the stream, and we see that we haven't really seen that break out to the upside, break down to the downside. So it means I still got to be paying attention to my risk, right? I got to be paying attention to what goes right and what starts to go wrong. And if something starts to go wrong in this type of environment, hopefully we don't get something surprising in either direction, because that can make us very, very much so in a rough spot. Thank you guys for joining today. We'll get some more info out to you guys on YouTube later today as we go into GDP. So it's going to be important for us to look into, hey, how are we shaping up by the end of the day? All right, guys, I got to take off. Sorry about it. Peace out.